This story here, the CEO of the World Economic Forum quits after Epstein's ties are coming to light. Excuse me. Sorry.
Blessings, sir.
From Reuters, in Zurich, the president and CEO of the World Economic Forum, Borg Brende, said he was stepping down on Thursday, a few weeks after the forum launched an independent investigation into his relationship with the late U.S. sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Brende, who became president of the WEF in 2017, announced his decision in a statement following disclosures from the U.S. Justice Department that showed the Norwegian had 3 business dinners with Epstein and had also communicated with the disgraced financier via email and text message. After careful consideration, I have decided to step down as president and CEO of the World Economic Forum. My time here, spanning 8.5 years, has been profoundly rewarding, said Brende, a former Norwegian foreign minister. Issued by the WEF, the statement made no mention of Epstein. However, Brende told Norwegian media he was sorry about how he had handled his dealings with the American and that it did not want the issue to be a distraction for the forum, which organizes the annual Davos summit. This is kind of a... It's interesting to see the kind of the repercussions of the Epstein files all over Europe, and we're just not seeing anything here in the United States.
I mean, if we're talking about people stepping down, Casey Wasserman stepping down from the Wasserman Agency.
Yeah.
Because of his weren't even ties to Epstein; they were ties to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, and Pritzker's brother,
yeah,
guy from I think it's Hyatt, is the hotel chain.
Bill Gates just said sorry and just kept his job.
Gates is like,
a little bit of input.
He was like, I had 2 affairs. That was the real.
I mean, technically, Bill Gates stepped down from IBM a long time ago, right? He's just
Microsoft.
Microsoft. My bad. But yeah, he's just like a philanthropist who's trying to mutate mosquitoes and stuff. Saying that he's trying to cure malaria, but we all know what he's really trying to do. He wants to implant robots in you.
It is Rumble wallets. Guys, you're tired of people banning you, blocking you, shutting you down? They want you to own nothing and be happy. Well, Rumble Wallet is a non-custodial means of holding value, storing value, and transferring it to other people, trading. So if you're watching on Rumble and you want to tip, you can use the Rumble Wallet. Rumble's the only company that has stood the test of time, deserving our support in fighting for free speech and freedom to transact and exist as we want. Banks can cancel your account. They can freeze your card. That's why Rumble has launched the Rumble Wallet. It's a wallet that no one can cancel. Supporters can use to instantly tip creators like us here at Timcast without any middleman taking cuts. You control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it. It's yours, only yours to protect your future and your family. You can buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin and Tether Gold in one place. Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with ownership of physical gold bars. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with a click of a button. And there will be no fees when you tip my channel or others when we receive that tip instantly, unlike other platforms where you got to wait for payouts or there's a lot taken out. So support the show and check out the Rumble Wallet. Make sure you guys download it by going to wallet.rumble.com. Download it today, open an account, step away from the big banks, use wallet.rumble.com, or you can search for them in the App Store. Shout out, Rumble Wallet.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's true. Implant and live long and prosper.
He was a big proponent way back when, too, of the COVID era, everything.
Yeah. So
he's like machine man. I don't know. I don't want to go too hard.
Musk is him
when
now.
I think about
Musk
Bill
is the
Gates.
machine man now.
All these techno, what do you call them?
Tetsuo.
Technocrats?
I don't know.
Tetsuos?
This isn't any surprise from him, though, because obviously he divorced his wife. Yeah. And you talked about Bill Clinton. But
I think she divorced him, right?
Yeah.
Because of this stuff?
Yes.
Did it come out?
He had so many affairs when he was at Microsoft, so just like Bill Clinton, it's like this wasn't anything that was unknown.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a surprise to me to actually see him linked to in this manner whatsoever. But for him to just come out after everything else is known about him, this response was pretty appropriate.
Yeah.
Saying like, yeah, I did 2 Russian girls.
Nobody benefited more from that divorce than NGOs and nonprofits.
Yeah.
Melinda Gates is just giving it away.
Yeah. Same thing with Mackenzie Bezos.
Yeah. Yes.
They're just like, look, it's fine that they get divorced. And they're like, I was with him when he made his money. Half of it's mine. Fine. The guys are set. They're fine too. I hate the fact that the women are giving away money, particularly because of who they're giving it to. They're giving it to all these progressive causes and stuff. And it's just like, man, can't you find something better to do with that money?
Even causes with ties to terrorist organizations.
Yeah. Yeah, like because it's all just misplaced empathy.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, look, this makes me a good person. These poor, suffering, whatever. I'll give this money away. And really it turns into, money going to terrorists or going to, organizations that are looking to do things like, gendered reassignment surgeries for children or stuff like that. It's all just the most nefarious stuff out there. And they're just like shoveling cash at these groups.
Do you think that's on purpose? Okay, so let's rephrase that question. So I kind of have the same point as like when you give to the nonprofits and the NGOs, especially if you don't do like a bunch of research into where the money goes, even if we don't want to talk about like shady places they could be giving it to, but whether they're spending the money well, right? Like how much of it is actually going to whatever cause you're raising and how much is going to employee salaries and things like that. Do you think it's a form of offloading their empathy on this company, or are they doing it specifically because there's like nefarious stuff going on and they want to spread the money around to nefarious causes?
Honestly, I think that they just got a boatload of money and it looks good.
Yep.
They got a boatload of money that they didn't have to work for. And they're just like, man, I got all this stock and I can sell some stock and, it'll piss my ex-husband off. And, I'm going to give this away to this group and this group and this group. I don't think that they look into it. I don't think that they're malicious or they're like, oh, I want to help terrorists or anything. I think they believe the face of whatever NGO that they're talking about or whatever organization. They believe what their mission statement, their public-facing mission statement on their website is. They're like, oh, they seem nice. Let me give them $1 billion and let me give them, or 50 million or whatever number it is,
The funnier version of this is like if Mackenzie Bezos and Melinda Gates just start giving money to their husbands' competitors, like just
That
start
would've been
funding
great
all the people
finger,
going
yes.
against them.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the ultimate spite move, wouldn't it?
Every time he like complained about something when he got home from work about some dude she just doesn't like, oh, this guy's a jerk, he wouldn't sign this business deal. She just starts giving money to all the people he complained about when they were eating dinner.
Mackenzie Bezos.
You are
like, I
planting
shop at
seeds
Target
right now in all of Elon's former women. Seriously. Like I'm giving to Open Claw, I'm giving to Claude right now.
Yep.
Anthropic's making a killing. But I mean, yeah, but again, back to the story, like this, the fact that there's all these repercussions that are, going through even, the government of the UK and nothing's really happening here in the States when it comes to, anyone that's alleged to be involved. There, like none of the lawyers or none of the friends are, nothing seems to be going on.
You mean as far as arrests or just in general, nothing's changing? Remember, I'm team nothing ever changes.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. But I mean, you only like you said, there's two guys that have stepped down from their positions.
Well, it's the first time in how many hundreds of years that a royal in the UK that you're referencing.
Yeah, I mean,
stripped of his titles, arrested, thrown in prison.
I think that's
Andrew.
Yeah.
In Casey Wasserman in the U.S., that was a little bit different because it's connected directly to Hollywood and all of those people. It became a virtue signal on behalf of all the people that he represented to leave on behalf of, making sure that their audience, because every one of those clients, whether it's music, movies, they all have their own self-interest. They can't be seen being attached to this guy. And his whole business model is to be attached to individuals, not necessarily to a product. So it makes sense that he would get,
Yeah, I mean, well,
they asked him to he's going to sell his own agency that bears his name. Like that's even crazier. Like his company with his name, and they're trying to buy him out so that he has to leave.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine I wonder if they'll change the name after he leaves.
Probably.
Just
I mean, it's kind of tainted now.
break the ties.
How deeply was he entrenched with Epstein?
He wasn't attached to Epstein, from what I understand. He had emails. He had like an affair with Ghislaine Maxwell, if I'm remembering correctly.
Which, I mean, to be honest with you, Ghislaine is just as bad as Epstein. As much as Epstein kind of gets the focus all the time, she was trafficking just as much as Epstein was. Maybe she wasn't actually engaging in the rape of minors like Epstein did, but like she was helping out and she was making sure that there was young people that were available for Jeffrey to abuse.
She would refer to them as nubiles, and they'd drive around New York looking for nubiles, underage women basically, and find them like hot chicks that they thought were going to be models basically, and they're like, let's get them. Let's stop. They literally would stop on the street. I don't know if this is true, but like they'd park the car and be like, hey, you're exactly who I'm looking for. Want to be famous? And the kids are like, yeah, I'm 16. I'm an aspiring model. Nubiles, Ghislaine would call them. So I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. How crazy that she had a name for it. What's that?
There's two things that really bother me about the whole Epstein arc. The first is that we don't ever really see a lot of the details, So like in this story right here, there's text messages and everything. Some of the emails make it out, and it's very clear as to what was going on. But in this case, Epstein almost seems like he's the black spot. If you had any association with him whatsoever,
Oh yeah.
then you're shamed for life. Even if you just had a phone conversation with him at one point where he was saying, "Hey, come out to my island," you're like, "No, that's okay. I don't need to." But then you just talk even in the slightest terms of a business deal with him.
Yeah.
Because he was a financier, hands down, right? That's what he did. But then that leads into the second thing is this has been lingering on so long.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when this story arc comes to an end, because it's been, how long has it been now?
Well, he was arrested in 2018, correct?
Yeah, so
I mean, he had his first conviction well before that.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, wasn't he like out on
Way
probation
Yeah.
or like house arrest for like a number of
Now
years?
that all the
Remember,
files
most people
came out.
continued to work with him after, like, plenty of people continued to work with him, even though he had convictions already. Didn't matter.
I agree fully with what you're saying, Rick. This feels like a cudgel that will be used for decades until all these people are dead and gone that associated with Epstein. There's in the back of their mind, they're like, shit, if it drops that I made a phone call with Epstein one time. And like, what? It's the name, the guy. Like, come on, it's like Hitler. Yeah, obviously the Nazis were bad. It was horrible. But like, people that get any association with Nazi Germany, Hitler, any of that is like, was the most demonic association for so long.
You shouldn't be afraid to name your kid Adolf.
Shouldn't be. Yeah, Adolf's a beautiful name. Hitler's a cool name too. Just turns out
Jeffrey
that
is
psycho had those
screwed
names.
from here on out.
Yeah, right.
It's also a form of selective enforcement. Look at what happened with Weinstein and the amount of people who were caught in the Weinstein net. Leslie Headland is still working, and she was Weinstein's assistant. And people are like, look, am I supposed to believe that you didn't know what was going on? And most people are like, no, I don't buy that. But she's still working in Hollywood just because they don't actually enforce the rules equally. Because it's all about who you know.
Everybody in Hollywood over a certain age had awareness of it. People, they were making jokes about Epstein at the Golden Globes or something like that.
Weinstein.
Yeah, Weinstein. Yeah, Harvey. They were making jokes about Harvey.
similar
My
names.
bad. They were making jokes about Harvey from stage, and it was an open secret in Hollywood. I mean, Weinstein was laughing at the jokes.
The famous Ricky Gervais joke.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Yeah. So I mean, if you're over the age of 35 or 40 in Hollywood, you knew, and it took a long time for people to come out. I mean, someone like Oprah Winfrey was, tons of pictures with him, friends with him, buddy, and of course, when it comes out that the things that he did and the coercion, she just doesn't say anything, but nobody's like, hey, Oprah, how come you're still like a queen of media or what have you, even though you were definitely buddy with Harvey Weinstein,
Well, she's also deeply embedded in the production side of things, so she spread her money around to finance projects. She's not just somebody who's in front of the camera. It's the same thing. There's actually this weird thing where every time Mel Gibson makes a new movie, even though like so many people in Hollywood hate him and the public loves him, somehow there will be nice reports written about the movies that he's making because he's deeply, felt within the production side of things. So he can go to these outlets and they can write some favorable pieces about him, and then he'll be right next to a hit piece from somebody else who doesn't like him because he's got so many ties to the behind the scenes stuff in the industry.
He's also got
He was one of
400.
the ones
Not
that
that
was named
any-
the other day as not being in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
He intentionally named as not being in there.
Yeah.
He also
funny
made
that they're
like
naming people that
$400 million off of the movie about Jesus that he made.
Yep. They're all-
Self-financed.
Yeah.
They were also like the pictures of George Bush. They're like not even in the Epstein files. Bombed kids overseas just for the hell of it.
I mean,
Didn't even have to force him.
Yeah, didn't. Yeah, no
love of
coercion
the
at all.
game.
Yep, totally. For the love of the game. Good Lord.
It is important that we don't demonize people for having connections to someone that's a vile creature. Like, just because they knew a guy or they had a dinner with them 8 years ago and then the guy went off and did psycho shit, like, that doesn't mean you're a psycho. It's okay to associate or have had associated with crazy people in the past. Doesn't make you crazy. Doesn't make you a villain. It's not illegal. So it's really sad, like, when people are like, shit, my name is attached to the guy. I got to resign from all my things. Maybe there's something going on with the World Economic Forum guy. Maybe something deeper was with that guy. And he's like, I got to get out of here before they start asking questions, maybe. But, like, the shame of running away from your job because you got named in an email from 18 years ago is like, bro,
That's the
imagine
public perception, and everybody's going to hate me for making this statement. But I mean, listen, the public got over Diddy, right?
Yeah.
I think the public needs to get over Epstein now. The world needs to get over Epstein because I don't see any real moves towards actually preventing, limiting, going after any kind of child trafficking anywhere else.
I mean,
I don't
look,
think they can do that. I just don't think. I think at least when we're talking about the Twitter sphere and the people on there, I just don't think that they're going to get over it. I don't blame them for the most part because I make the joke all the time. I say I'm team nothing ever changes because it does feel that way, and it's an offshoot of that where you're like, you look at these people do awful shit. You see them break the rules. You see them ignore the will of the people and nothing ever changes. And there's no greater incidence of that than knowing that all of this stuff is happening and knowing that nobody's going to be held accountable. And it's even worse when you see it happening to somebody in the UK, but in the US where all this was based, they're just like, I understand where the black pill comes from that. Now I understand that there's a gap there between the people who are policy minded and who are saying that we need to get over this because we have other things we need to worry about and this can't be the only thing that we focus on. But when you're talking about the abuse of children, that's just a chord that's very hard for some people to separate from.
You know, it's funny because, well, it's interesting that there's all this focus on the Epstein files and the terrible things that Epstein did, but people don't really have the same, or at least the left doesn't have the same kind of outrage over all the children that were trafficked through the southern border when
It's only
Joe
'cause of
Biden.
Trump. Like the only reason they care about Epstein at all is because
Absolutely.
it's tangentially connected to Trump.
Absolutely, but there were far more kids that were hurt and died and abused, you know, by cartels that were trafficking children over the border all the time during the 4 years that Biden was president, and they don't say a word, not a peep.
You
Not a
know
peep.
about that. The Super Bowl. I mean, the Super Bowl weekend is the biggest trafficking weekend.
Yeah.
Every
Is that
single
true?
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But why? Like just because of the travel into the country?
Hardee's.
Yep.
People buy commodities, and unfortunately, commodities are children.
Ugh.
It's horrible.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the idea that people know that this exists and there isn't anybody, there's one person whose face has been made kind of he is now the avatar for it. And the only other person who's been held accountable somehow isn't able to give other names and bring anybody else to justice. People can't buy that.
Yeah.
Like they don't buy that the one guy died and that the other one's in jail and then just nobody else.
Yeah.
And I don't think they should be expected to believe that. I'm not saying that.
What I don't hear, man, is that you know, what are we actually doing about it right now? You
No,
know,
I'm not.
because
I'm not
we're-
saying it's not a problem where it feels like things are getting lost and other stuff could be getting done. But depending, one of the things I was saying the other day is like most of the people these days are one-track voters, right? Like the other day I opened X and half the people are complaining about Iran and how we're going to have World War III. Then we have people complaining about Epstein. And then we have people complaining about glyphosate. Everybody's a one-issue voter, and if you're not taking care of their one issue, they're not going to support you anymore. And that's made worse now by the fact that the internet gives you all the news all the time, and you're bombarded by bad news constantly.
Yeah. I think
the
that,
case. Everybody's a one-issue voter.
It feels.
yeah, a lot of people are.
I'm not. I mean, not everybody, but maybe the plebs, generally like common man that is emotional.
You always vote?
No, I only vote if I know what I'm voting for.
I just thought it was when you're like, I'm not a one-issue voter. I don't vote.
Don't vote.
Yeah, I need
You don't
know
have to be a
explicitly
one-issue
what-
voter if you don't vote.
Yeah, it's more about what. I don't think anyone should ever feel like they're supposed to vote. You got to know what you're doing if you're going to participate.
You know my feeling about it. We need less voters. Fewer voters, fewer people going to the polls, fewer people there.
Or more legitimate voters. You know, really people that understood.
Educated.
No, I'm pretty sure I want less. Fewer. Fewer
I don't know if
voters.
this is a good bookend, but I just truly believe that all of this news about Epstein and everybody stepping down is really about protecting the organizations that are forcing these individuals to step down. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It's not about the individuals. It's not about doing what's right for society. It's just about protecting the reputation of these organizations.
Yeah, I imagine the board of the WEF was like, bro,
Yeah.
beat it. You got to get out of here, man. Get
Bill
out.
Gates can stay because we can't make him leave, but you're out of here.
Like I said, Bill Gates is already, he's not at Microsoft anymore. He's already made his bag and he's just giving it away and trying to mutate the mosquitoes. That's it.
I mean, this
Cure malaria. That's what he wants to do. He wants to use genetically engineered mosquitoes to manage to cure malaria.
what a freak.
Yeah. So
Okay.
That word malaria is so funny. Bad air. Is that what that means? Mal air?
I don't know.
Malaria. I think it means bad air. No one knows where
I think
what.
it's a demonic word, though, man. Seriously, we better not name
You
it.
want to go to demons?
No.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.